everyone, this is Karen.
Hey everybody, this is Shane.
Today we're looking at part 2 of a walk through the history of
high heels.
Dun, 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 dun. And the vocabulary words are attitude.
Attitude.
People's attitudes towards smoking have changed in the past 10 years.
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
One of the disadvantages of traveling alone is not having anyone to take photos of you.
That's why we take selfies.
Selfies, duh.
Workplace.
Workplace.
All of the company's employees receive training on how to behave properly in the workplace.
Protest.
Protest.
Jenny protested her father's decision.
Popularity.
Popularity.
Electric bikes have grown in popularity. So, we're still talking about high heels, right?
Yeah, right. And so, okay, they were kind of something really for the rich and nobles. And that kind of changed after the
French Revolution. That's right.
Where people started just being more down to earth. Right?
That's right. Getting rid of the heels, meaning they're more down to earth.
Yes.
And they preferred, like, simple clothing as well.
Exactly. So being so in fashion, that didn't really matter as much. But of course, fashion always comes back.
That's right.
And high heels, I think now are just as popular as they ever have been, right? And you're somebody who wears high heels.
Yes.
Why do you wear them?
Because I think they look really pretty. And also, they make you look taller, because I'm really not a tall person. So they make me look taller, skinnier, and I think better in proportion.
Okay, but there must be some disadvantages. It hurts, right?
Yes, they are very painful. They hurt your feet. You can really, it's hard to find heels that, that are so comfortable.
I guess the old saying is true. No pain,
no gain.
All right, let's learn more about high heels.
All right.
Enjoy.
A walk through the history of high heels.
Attitudes toward nobility started to shift during the French Revolution in the 18th century. Both men and women adopted flat shoes, and men began favoring simpler clothing. When high heels later made a return to fashion, they were seen as a sexy item only for women. Advances in production techniques throughout the 19th and 20th centuries made it possible to create modern styles, such as that of the stiletto, most commonly associated with U.S. pinup girls of the 1950s. Hello and welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Kim.
And we are continuing our painful walk. Ow, my feet hurt through the history of high heels. Oh my God, I can't go any further.
I need an ice pack.
And I'm not even wearing high heels.
I
but just
sort of am.
reading about them is painful. You wear them occasionally, right?
They are painful, yes.
Yeah? How far could you walk in a pair of high heels before you go, okay, that's it, we're taking a taxi?
Not far, and I couldn't use them on horseback, like the Persian men either.
That's right. They used to wear them on horseback. And imagine those French kings standing around or dancing in their fancy balls with their giant wigs, wearing their weird high-heeled shoes.
Nope.
But people did this for hundreds of years, and it was men and women.
That's right.
After some time, both wearing them. That's very interesting, but also I'm kind of glad we don't have to wear them. But as we left off in the article yesterday, it was French men and women, the royals, the king and his friends, who are wearing high heels in probably like the 1700s in France. So, what happened? When did men stop wearing high heels? Let's find out as we read today's article. And it begins, attitudes toward nobility started to shift during the French Revolution in the 18th century. Oh yeah, the attitudes definitely shifted. They were shifting the heads of the nobility off of their bodies by chopping them off.
Attitude shifting is putting it mildly,
The king lost his life. Many of the royals were killed. So yes, when we talk about attitudes shifting, we're talking about people's feelings changing. When you're cutting off the king's head, your feelings are changing.
That's a big change. And an attitude, as we said, just a feeling or opinion about something. You can have a good attitude towards something, which means you like it, or a bad attitude towards something, which means that you don't like it. And your attitude can be used to express whether you are supporting something or not. For example, people's attitudes towards smoking have changed in the past 10 years. Before, smoking is a lot more acceptable to people. These days, not so much. The attitude has changed.
Absolutely. I can remember when people were smoking on airplanes.
And in
all the
restaurants.
time. And in restaurants.
Yes, smoking or non-smoking
That's
section.
right. Imagine that today. Attitudes have definitely changed. All right, so people's feelings towards the royal family in France and, of course, towards fashion also changed a lot. And we read both men and women adopted flat shoes, and men began favoring simpler clothing. So all those big wigs and the fancy golden clothes and the fancy shoes, that was out. That was not popular anymore as these attitudes shifted. Men began favoring simpler clothing and more comfortable shoes. When high heels later made a return to fashion, they were seen as a sexy item only for women. So there you go. Everyone kind of stopped being in love with high heel shoes, and when they came back, it was on the feet of women and not men any longer.
Yes, and advances in production techniques throughout the 19th and 20th centuries made it possible to create modern styles, such as that of the stiletto, the really long one, most commonly associated with U.S. pinup girls of the 1950s. These were drawings or sometimes pictures of women in quite sexy poses. They're wearing the high heel stilettos, which is the very long, thin kind of heel, and usually bikinis and nice dresses, things like that. And this was common in the 1950s, these pinup girls.
So like Marilyn Monroe,
yes,
and the early
classic
Hollywood bombshells, and of course, later on in the 50s and 60s. And yeah, if you think about it, the old high heel shoes would have been made of like wood and leather and nailed together. It would be hard to make a thin stiletto with those old materials. They would just fall apart. So there you go. Science had a bit to do with it, as well as technology. We'll take a break and then we'll be back with more about high heel shoes and modern attitudes towards them.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的课文读到，17世纪的法国国王路易14坚持只有他跟他的朝臣可以穿高跟鞋，可能就是想要显示自己高人一等，他的身份很特别吧。那话说回来，他们也蛮厉害的耶，这些王室贵族他们要戴着假发穿高跟鞋去参加舞会，穿一整个晚上应该累死了吧。好，Mike 老师在开场的时候他用到 wig 这个字 ，W-I-G wig 就可以表达假发的意思哦。好，那么在18世纪的法国大革命期间，人们对于贵族的态度开始转变。老师们就在讲说，这个说法也太委婉了吧。像法国国王路易16还有一些贵族他们都被砍头了。好，那刚刚说，由于对贵族的态度转变，男性和女性都采用平底鞋，那么男性就开始偏好比较简单简朴的衣着，而后来高跟鞋在重返时尚界的时候呢，这种鞋就被认为只适合女性的那种性感单品了。好，这边有个单字是 attitude， 它表示态度或是心态。那课文接着写到说，19、20世纪期间，这个制造技术的发展，使得开创现代款式的鞋款成为了可能。像是细跟的高跟鞋，这款鞋呢，最常跟1950年代的海豹女郎联想在一起。这时候 Mike 老师就联想到玛丽莲梦露，还有一些早期50、60年代的好莱坞美女。这时候老师用到 bombshell，B-O-M-B-S-H-E-L-L， bombshell 可以用来表达极具吸引力的女子、美女的那种意思。好，那这边还有3个重点。第一个是 advance， 它当名词是表达进步、进展。那么后面加 in 再加事物的话，就可以表达某方面的进步。举例来说 ，Advances in technology have made our lives more convenient。科技方面的进步让我们的生活变得更便利了。第二个重点是 that 可以用来代替前面提过的名词，像我们可以造这样的例句 ：The price of gold is higher than that of silver. 金价比银价还要高。那么 that 就是取代我们前面提到的 the price。好，第三个重点 associate 或是念作 associate， 它是当动词来表达使联想，将什么联系在一起。当我们用 be associated with something， 就可以表达跟什么什么联想在一起，跟什么什么有关。举例来说 ，ice cream is often associated with summertime。冰淇淋常让人联想到夏季。好，接回课文中。
A walk through the history of high heels.
However, high-heeled shoes have disadvantages. The shape of the shoe puts pressure on the ball of the foot, making it easy to slip when walking. Wearing high heels frequently can cause leg pain, muscle tightness, and even bone damage in the foot. In fact, high heels can be so harmful that women in some workplaces have protested their inclusion in company dress codes. Employees at one Israeli airline, for example, successfully changed a rule requiring them to wear high heels.
All right, so high-heeled shoes, men were no longer interested in wearing them. They're on the feet of women, and of course, modern technology made stiletto heels and these fancy shapes that look very nice.
Yes.
But actually, if you think about wearing them, you might kind of feel like Kim does after she walks a few hundred feet or meters in them. I don't think I like these shoes that much anymore.
No, as we see here, even though they might look good, however, high-heeled shoes have disadvantages, quite a few.
Yeah. So a disadvantage, this noun basically is something bad about something. There are things in the world and we can say, hey, there's good things about it and bad things about it. Well, a good thing would be an advantage. This is a pro. This is something that you like about it, all right? The disadvantage is the opposite. It's a con, it's a negative, it's a minus, it's something you don't like about something. So if you're giving your opinion, you might say, well, the advantages are the good things, the disadvantages, the not so good or the bad things. For example, one of the disadvantages of traveling alone is not having anyone to take photos of you. Well, that's a good point.
You can solve that with a selfie stick.
You can have a selfie stick or ask someone, excuse me, could you take my photo in front of this thing? But it is definitely a disadvantage.
It is. You have to figure out a way to get around that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, talking about high heels, the shape of the shoe puts pressure on the ball of the foot, making it easy to slip when walking. Wearing high heels frequently can cause leg pain, muscle tightness, and even bone damage in the foot.
Ouch! All of those things make me go ouch, ouch, and ouch.
Double ouch.
And I never thought about the slipping, yeah, because all your weight is kind of on your toes or right at the front of your foot.
Yeah, on the bottom part of your foot here.
On a rainy day or going down a slope, going down a small
or
hill.
Over a grate in the floor.
Ooh, that could hurt too.
This could go wrong in so many ways.
Things that I've never had to think about being a guy. I should wear high heels more.
You should.
In fact, it says high heels can be so harmful that women in some workplaces have protested their inclusion in company dress codes. Wow, so some women who have to wear them in their workplace, basically where they work, they've protested their inclusion. No, we're not wearing high-heeled shoes. Here's an example. Employees at one Israeli airline, for example, successfully changed a rule requiring them to wear high heels. Oh. Wow, if you're required to wear it, it means basically you have to wear them. And yeah, I mean, as a flight attendant on an airplane, you're on your feet walking around serving coffee and food the whole time the plane is in the air.
Yeah, that sounds like the worst place to have to wear high heels, to be honest.
That's not the workplace I'd want to be in, in uncomfortable shoes.
And the workplace is a funny word because it just means the place where you work. So any place where you have a job can be your workplace. For example, all of the company's employees receive training on how to behave properly in the workplace. Again, the place where they work.
Yeah, absolutely. Our workplace is here and we sit in front of that thing you see behind us. That's our workplace. We don't know what it is, but it's our workplace. And here we had this word protest, all right? To protest, this verb means to disagree with something, probably in a loud way, and maybe other people also agree with you. We often see this when a government makes a new law, or a company makes a new rule, or your teacher or your parent says, we want you to do this, and you don't want to do it, and you have a good reason why you don't want to do it. It's not fair, or it goes against what they said before. So you're like, no. You're not saying, no, I disagree with that. You're saying, no, I really disagree with that, and here's why, and these people agree with me, and we're not going to take it. For example, Jenny. Jenny protested her father's decision.
She didn't like it.
She didn't like that decision.
Not at all.
There was no way she was going to stay home and play video games all week instead of going to school.
No way at all.
No way. She wanted to go to school.
Well, after the break, we'll find out more about what's been going on with high heels in the present day. And how does this story end up? We'll find out.
I don't know what's going on with Jenny.
Poor Jenny.
虽然高跟鞋是时尚单品，穿起来很好看，但它也有不少坏处。穿高跟鞋的时候，会在这个脚掌的前缘施加压力，造成走路的时候很容易打滑。有时候鞋跟还会不小心卡进水沟盖的洞里面，我就被卡过一次。好，刚刚 Kim 老师他用到 grate 这个字 ，G-R-A-T-E 这个字啊，可以用来指水沟盖那种一格一格的那种铁格栅。好，再来看单字 disadvantage。disadvantage 它表示害处、劣势、不利条件。好，那补充一下，我们要表达优缺点，你除了用 advantage 跟 disadvantage， 我们也可以用 pro 和 con 这两个字。pro 是拼作 P-R-O， 它表示优点、赞成的论点。那么 con 是拼作 C-O-N， 它可以表达缺点、反对的论点。所以如果你听到 pros and cons， 就是表达赞成及反对的理由、正反意见，或者是有这种利弊啊、优缺点的意思咯。好，那么课文接着写到说，常常穿高跟鞋可能会造成腿痛、肌肉紧绷，甚至是脚骨的伤害。那么有些工作场所的女性就抗议反对把这种高跟鞋纳入公司的服装规定。有一家以色列航空公司的员工，他们就成功改变了一条要求他们穿高跟鞋的规定。好，这边来看两个单字 workplace 照字面看你就懂了，就是工作场所的意思。那么 protest 在这边当动词来表达抗议反对。那补充一下，老师们刚刚有提到空服员的英文则是 flight attendant， 其中这个 attendant 它有服务员、侍者的意思，它是拼作 A-T-T-E-N-D-A-N-T attendant。这句话课文中
A walk through the history of high heels.
Recently, sales of high heels have dropped, and sportier footwear has gained popularity. Even top luxury brands have gotten in on the act. Many have released their own sneaker lines. Only time will tell whether high heels hold as much importance in fashion's future as they have in its past.
So high heels are maybe not as popular as they were before for probably some good reasons. They can be very painful when you're wearing them, especially if you're standing or walking around a lot. So this has led to a new change in fashion. It says recently sales of high heels have dropped, and sportier footwear has gained popularity. All right, so people say, I don't really like high heels. I got to carry 2 pairs of shoes around because I can't walk in them all day. So why are we always wearing these shoes? So sportier footwear, more comfortable types of shoes have gained popularity.
I think this is a trend. A lot of sportier clothing has gained popularity. Not
Absolutely.
just shoes, but also maybe some sweatpants or leggings and the hoodie, the nice sports outfits.
Right.
Yeah, people want to be more comfortable.
That's it, yeah.
This has also grown in popularity. Popularity is the fact that something is liked and enjoyed by many people. If something is popular and a lot of people really like it, it has popularity. For example, electric bikes have grown in popularity, which is true. Electric bikes, electric scooters, with the push for climate change to slow it down. In popularity, these things have grown. A lot of people like them and use them.
Absolutely. Electric cars are getting even more popular. And yes, of course, popular is the adjective form. popularity is the noun form. And even top luxury brands have gotten in on the act. Many have released their own sneaker lines. Yeah, there are those famous fashion brands that make mostly shoes, right?
Yeah.
Christian Louboutin and who's the other one? Manolo Blahnik.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Maybe they're making running shoes or sneakers.
Yes.
Sneakers, running shoes, those sort of flat, comfortable shoes you can wear to walk around or go to the gym or, you know, just when you don't want to wear high heels and you want your feet to be comfortable.
Yes, and only time will tell whether high heels hold as much importance in fashion's future as they have in its past.
Interesting. All right. So I guess we can expect to see more Christian Louboutin and Manolo Blahnik running shoes, and I guess we'll have to wait for Adidas and Nike high heels.
Maybe they'll catch up. Yeah, they'll switch, and we'll have my Adidas stilettos.
They'll be switching, but we'll have to wait for that. So what do you guys think? Will people still wear high heels in 20 years? That's not too far in the future, but it is far enough that we might notice a change. So what do you think?
We might see a change. In the future, I think people will wear high heels. I think people still want to go out and dance. They still want to dress up for parties. They still want to wear these high heels because they're very fashionable. They make you feel like it's a special occasion. Yes, I think high heels are here to stay.
Okay, I think I kind of agree with that. You know, kind of like where men used to wear a tuxedo or a full suit a lot more in the past. They don't so much today, but most men will still have that nice suit for a wedding or a party
something like that
in their closet, just not as often.
Yes.
So yeah, don't throw away your high heels just yet, but maybe don't ask for a bunch of many more new pairs for your birthday or Christmas this year, because you won't need them quite as much. Thanks for joining us, guys. Keep your feet comfortable. You only have 2 of them, and they should carry you through most of your life. And we'll see you very, very soon. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of your feet and each other, and yeah, come on back soon. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
How are your feet?
近年来，高跟鞋的销售下滑，反而是比较休闲轻便的鞋子受到欢迎，连高端的奢侈品牌都有推出他们自己的运动鞋产品。好，这边有一个单字是 popularity，popularity 它表示流行、受欢迎或是普及的意思，是个名词。那刚刚 Kim 老师提到，现在也很流行穿 sweatpants， 就是宽松的运动长裤，还有 leggings 表示内搭裤，还有 hoodie 表示连帽运动衫，也就是我们说的帽 T。好，那么课文最后写到说，只有时间能够证明高跟鞋在时尚界未来的重要性是否能跟他们过去一样。好，这边有2个重点，第一个是Only time will tell 或是 only time can tell 就是表达只有时间能证明怎么样。好，这样的句子呢，它可以单独使用，或者是你可以在后面接 if 或是 whether 所引导的名词子句，来表达说只有时间能证明是否会怎么样怎么样。举例来说， Only time will tell if he made the right decision 只有时间能证明他做的是不是正确的决定。好，那么第2个重点是 as much 名词 as 主词加上动词，这样的句型用来修饰不可数名词，去表达跟什么一样多的某事物。例如Hank doesn't make as much money as his brother does. Hank 没有赚到跟哥哥一样多的钱，也就是说他的收入不如哥哥多。好，那么以上是这些讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
A walk through the history of high heels.
Attitudes toward nobility started to shift during the French Revolution in the 18th century. Both men and women adopted flat shoes, and men began favoring simpler clothing. When high heels later made a return to fashion, they were seen as a sexy item only for women. Advances in production techniques throughout the 19th and 20th centuries made it possible to create modern styles, such as that of the stiletto, most commonly associated with U.S. pinup girls of the 1950s. However, high-heeled shoes have disadvantages. The shape of the shoe puts pressure on the ball of the foot, making it easy to slip when walking. Wearing high heels frequently can cause leg pain, muscle tightness, and even bone damage in the foot. In fact, high heels can be so harmful that women in some workplaces have protested their inclusion in company dress codes. Employees at one Israeli airline, for example, successfully changed a rule requiring them to wear high heels. Recently, sales of high heels have dropped, and sportier footwear has gained popularity. Even top luxury brands have gotten in on the act. Many have released their own sneaker lines. Only time will tell whether high heels hold as much importance in fashion's future as they have in its past.
Lively Shijie Market is close to the Shijie train station. There is plenty of car and scooter parking outside the market. Inside, the shopping environment is comfortable, so people can buy what they need without worrying about the weather. The stands are laid out in an orderly fashion. Vendors sell a variety of fresh food like meat, hot dishes, and local produce. Unlike morning markets, this one is open from the afternoon until the evening. Every day when the market opens, it quickly fills with people. Office workers, housewives, and commuters love shopping here.
See you next time!